So in this video, I'm going to go through this bag and show you everything that I currently use and take out with me when I go field recording. It's a compact little system that enables me to record all sorts of things. It's perhaps not the best microphones, not the best recorder, but it's very small and it enables me to just pick this bag up and go out and do some field recording work. I've also done a much longer video where I've talked about the whole journey that I've taken with field recording, all the different gear that I've tried, that I've bought and tried over a few years, and the successes and the failures that I've had. So I'll put a link up to that video if you fancy looking at how I got to this endpoint, this solution that I currently have. So in this first front pocket here, I have my vlogging gear. I've only done a bit of vlogging on the channel so far, but in the near future, I intend to go out and record some of my field recording trips. I'm going to call it Field Notes, and I'm going to take the camera out and do some vlogging style videos where I'm describing what I'm doing field recording wise. So that's going to come to the channel soon. So I've got a couple of tripods, an attachment for my bag to put the camera on here, and my microphone, which I'm currently using there, and my little notebook, things I might want to talk about, and to jot down the things that I've recorded as I go along. So that's the non-field recording part of the bag. And then in the main section here, I've got my main field recording gear. So I've got this bag here, which is full of all my different microphones. And then I have this, which currently is in a plastic bag. And this is my main field recording rig. So we'll look at the mics in a bit. And currently in a plastic bag, because that's all I have that's big enough. Although I am looking for a bag, a similar bag to this, that I could put the full setup in. But I haven't got one at the moment, so I'm just using a plastic bag to protect it a bit. And it's based around this complex tripod that I have and the Zoom F3 field recorder with a pair of clippy mics from Mic Booster. This is the main setup that I use to go out with to record. I can keep it all together like this, and I can just fold it up and put it back into my bag. I don't have to mess about setting things up then. I can just go out, pull this out of my bag and set it up in different locations, and even just carry it around while I'm looking for things. Let's take it apart and talk about how it works and what I've got going on here. Everything that I'm showing you in this video today, I've got linked down below. Quite a few of those links are Amazon affiliate links. So if you click on any of those links and you buy something from Amazon, then whatever you buy, whether it's these things or something else, a coffee machine, whatever you buy, I'll get a few pence and you'll still pay the same amount. So that is a way to support the channel. Some of those are Amazon links, affiliate links, and a lot of them are just directly to the manufacturers because I don't have any affiliate links for them. So I'll make that plain below which ones are affiliate links and which ones are not. So first off, we've got this tripod. I found this just on Amazon. It's a newer brand. And the interesting thing about it is that it's a bendy, flexible tripod with two extra flexible arms. I've tried all sorts of different setups and ways of holding the microphones with the recorder, but this is just a brilliant solution. Because they're bendy, that means and flexible, that means you can attach them to things like fences or trees, small trees. So, or even with uneven ground, they're really handy because you can adjust them. So it's much better than having a kind of static, solid tripod. So, and they have these two extra arms. So these can be positioned. I can do different positioning for the mics on these extra arms. So I've got this. And then my recorder, the recorder that I currently have is the Zoom F3 field recorder. As I say, I've tried a few different recorders in the past, but my current recorder is still the Zoom F3 field recorder. It's a very compact 2-track recorder. You can either record 2 mono inputs from different microphones, or you can combine those 2 mono into a single stereo recording. So that's how I most often use it, to record as a single stereo recording with these clipping mics. So it's a 32-bit floating point recorder, which just means that it has a lot more headroom. And so you're less likely to get any distortion problems with this field recorder. It's quite chunky because it's quite wide, but overall it's quite small. You can attach it to your belt if you want, and if you're not using a tripod. But I found it to be pretty easy to use and reliable so far. So the Zoom F3 32-bit floating point field recorder, that I can just attach on the top of the tripod here. So, like a camera mount, I think it's called a camera mount, isn't it? One of these screw mounts. So you just screw it on there, on the tripod. And there you go. F3, Zoom F3 on the tripod. The microphones that I use are a stereo pair of Omni mics, these very small Omni mics, and they're called Clippies. And they're from a website called micbooster.com, and they sell a number of variations of these small clipping mics. For their size and their price, they're very good quality. All of my field recording albums pretty much are recorded with these clipping mics. And they come in a number of different configurations. These are powered microphones. I think they're very small condenser mics. And they require some form of power. And these ones are the plug-in power version, because initially the recorder that I had when I bought these had plug-in power on it. And so it requires a mini jack for the plug-in power. But now I have the Zoom F3. I needed a way. This doesn't have plug-in power on it. This has phantom power on it, this recorder. And I needed a way to convert the stereo plug-in power to 2 separate XLR for the phantom power. And so I bought this converter, which is by a company called Immersive Soundscapes. This was actually reasonably expensive. I think it was £40–50. But it is very well made, and I've had it quite a while now, and it's still intact. I've had no problems with it. So this converts the stereo mini jack into 2 XLRs so that I can use these stereo clipping mics on the Zoom F3. So that's the way I went about it, because I already had the plug-in power version with the stereo mini jack. But you can actually, from Mic Booster, you can buy a version of these that goes straight to the XLRs. So if you were going to use a recorder like the Zoom F3, I'd recommend that you just bought the XLR version of the clipping mics. So they plug into there, and I can get a stereo recording through phantom power. Now the clipping mics, they come with these foam windshields. Just give you a little bit of added protection, wind protection. But I found that these weren't very good, because foam windshields aren't that good normally. And they also came with these little clips, so you can clip it onto wherever you like. So initially, that's what I did. I clipped these onto the tripod that I had, I just clipped them on the side, and this is the way that I did it. But I found that I couldn't get the microphones very wide apart, and also they kept falling off. It was quite hard to get them straight. So that's why I went in the end for a different system. So they do come with these clips, and you can clip them onto anything you wanted and record with them. But I wanted to upgrade the clip, and I wanted to upgrade the wind protection. So I bought a pair of these better windshields. These are Rycote windshields, and you can buy them from Mic Booster as well. And I found that if I left the foam windshields on, that would enable the better Rycote windshield to sit over the top and actually stay in place. So I keep both of them on. I leave the foam one underneath. So that's what I've got in terms of wind protection. And that is pretty good, really. It's not brilliant in that if it is very strong wind, these won't cope with very strong wind. But for just general breezes and a bit of wind, they're okay. You can still get good recordings. I think if you want to deal with full-on wind, strong winds, then you really need to look at a bigger container, like a blimp-type container. But for a small portable setup like this, these actually are really quite good. And this tripod has cold shoe, like camera cold shoe attachments at the end of these arms. So I needed a way to attach the clippies to the cold shoe. So first of all, I bought a set of these. I think these are Rycote as well. They're called Lyres, these Lyre, Lyre, that support, that hold the microphone and give a little bit of protection from vibrations. And a lot of microphone systems use a lyre of some kind to isolate the mic from movement. And you can buy a pair of these Lyres from Mic Booster as well. These, I think they are Rycote ones. So you get a pair of these Lyres, and then they come just blank. They come with nothing on the bottom, no attachment. And so I needed a way to attach this lyre to the cold shoe. I had bought from a previous project these other Lyres for a larger microphone, for my Rode microphones. And they were attached to the cold shoe like that. And they were just attached with a screw. So I actually, and I've got a link to these Lyres here. So if you buy a pair of those and you buy a pair of these, you can dismantle these ones and take the cold shoe off it and attach it to these Lyres. So transfer over. You may well be able to buy these cold shoe attachments separately, but I couldn't find anywhere that sold them separately. So luckily I had them from that small plastic lyre. And as I say, I've put a link to that down in the description. So you dismantle that and you put it together into that. And then these just clip on to the back of the microphone like that. And then these just attach in and tighten up onto the arm of the tripod. So that's the full setup. And you can plug these in. So that's the full setup that I use there. I tuck away this wire somewhere like that. So the way I've come about this whole system is probably a bit fiddly in that you've got to, I bought these other Lyres that you have to take apart. And there may be simpler ways to build something like this. But this, I'm just describing the way that I eventually managed to do it through all these bits and pieces. So you could do the same thing. You could buy all these bits and pieces and you could make this. So that is my main rig that I can then take out and about with me, attach to different things, uneven ground. I can move the microphones closer, or I can change the angles of them. So it's pretty versatile. And then I can fold it up when I've finished. And then it'll go back in my bag. So the other bag that I have when I go out is this bag, and it's full of all my extra mics and different bits and pieces. So I'll get all these out and we'll have a look. I've got a battery pack for my phone in case the phone runs out. I take that. Various attachments and bits and pieces. This is mainly, I've got some little pegs that I can use to attach microphones to things. And I've actually got some larger pegs on order at the moment to take out with me that will enable me to attach the larger contact mic to fences and things like that, a bit more securely than these. These aren't that secure. So these are luggage straps that I'm taking out with me, and I've got a very specific use for these in mind. These are essentially to attach microphones to trees. It's an idea that I've had, and I'll be talking more about that in a video soon. So some luggage straps. These two mics are similar. This is a contact microphone, a small piezo microphone inside there, and then this has been sealed. And this is the same thing, but this is a hydrophone. It's sealed better and set up slightly differently. Both of these are made by sound artist Jez Riley French. He sells these on his website. This contact microphone and a hydrophone, both piezo based. I bought this from his website as well, this impedance converter, because it's just important to use one of these to get a better signal out of these piezo type mics. And also it's handy because it converts into the XLR, which then fits into my F3 recorder. So a contact mic and a hydrophone. I can use the passive converter or the active preamp converter on these piezo microphones to enable me to attach them to the F3, the Zoom F3. To be honest, I haven't done a lot of work with these. The bits and pieces that I have done, I haven't had much success with them, but I would like to explore them further, and I would like to try and make more recordings with them. I do have a project in mind for some hydrophone work, and I may actually buy a second hydrophone to enable me to do stereo hydrophone recording. I also have this other small contact mic by Korg. It was only a few pounds, quite cheap. And it's got a built-in clip, so you can attach it to fences and various things. I would use this with the impedance transformer, which would allow me to attach it to the F3. I haven't, again, done much work with this. I've tried it a couple of times, but I'm interested to see if I can get some better recordings with this from fences and those types of things. So it's currently in the bag still to try out. And then I have in here, I have some LOM. These are electromagnetic pickups, and these do not need power. So they're passive mics, passive electromagnetic pickups. I can use the immersive soundscapes converter to plug these into the Zoom F3. They are LOM Electro Ushi, and they enable you to pick up all sorts of electromagnetic sound sources. So if you've got some electric fence or some transformer boxes or telephone boxes, those types of things. So I sometimes find sound sources to use these with. And I also have a cheaper electromagnetic pickup. in here that I take out with me. This little one is just in case I find some cables or an electric fence or something like that. I might explore it with these electromagnetic pickups. I've made a whole video on electromagnetic pickups and the types of things you can pick up with them, and I'll put a link to that. That one's only a few pounds. These ones are a bit more expensive, but they're a stereo pair. So I have those as well. And finally, I also have a set of these. These are Sennheiser Ambio binaural headset. So the way this works is that it plugs into your phone with a lightning socket. The way they work is that they have an earphone and a microphone attached on the outside. Put those into your ears, and at the same time as hearing what you're recording, you can also record with these. And you get a stereo recording, and it's binaural, which means that it is affected by the shadow of your head. So this ear takes a recording, this microphone takes a recording that includes the shadow of your head. So sounds from over here are masked by your head. And this ear is masked by your head the other way. So this microphone, sounds coming from this direction are masked out by your head. And that change in information, because of the shadowing effect of your head, gives the brain different amounts of signal from both sides. And it allows the brain to really understand the locational, the positional information in the recording. And so it sounds very realistic. That's binaural recording. It sounds very realistic, as if you were listening yourself to that stereo field. It's a very realistic stereo field. So it's not like I'm getting the big field recording setup out, I'm putting it in front, I'm putting it down somewhere, and it's very obvious that I am doing something, I'm field recording. Whereas with these, you can just pop them in and no one knows that you're doing a recording. It's just a nice way to record sometimes. For instance, when I was at Birmingham New Street train station last year, I made a nice recording with these, so I could just put them on. I was just standing on the platform like anyone else, and I recorded the sounds of the trains there, and it doesn't draw any attention to you because you don't have a load of field recording gear out. So it's stealth in that kind of way. And they're not super quality, but you can get some nice recordings with them. So I've got these. I'd like to do a bit more work with these at some point. So that is what I have in the second bag, those microphones. So that is what I've got in my bag currently when I go out field recording. That is the whole of the setup that I've got, and it enables me to do all sorts of different things. I'm going to try and vlog that, record it, and do some interesting videos for the channel outside. So that could be a lot of fun, and you'll see me using a lot of this gear then. If you found this interesting, there's plenty of ways you can support what I'm doing here. You can go to my Substack site and read more about this type of thing on my journal there. You can go to Patreon, where you will get all sorts of bits and pieces, videos early, all sorts of free things. Or you could just use the affiliate links down below and buy something from Amazon. So I hope that's useful for you. As I say, there's a longer video that I did about my entire field recording journey that I'll link up next. So that's all I've got for today, and hope that's useful, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, all the best.